My wife showed up to the tournament in another man's jersey. She doesn't know I'm here. I'm a software engineer, which means I travel for work conferences pretty regularly. This particular week, I was supposed to be in Seattle for a tech summit. 3 full days of presentations and networking events. My wife Emma knew about the trip. I'd told her weeks in advance. She even helped me pack my suitcase the night before I left. Here's the thing though, the conference got canceled last minute. Some issue with the venue's permits or insurance. I don't remember exactly. They sent an email at 6 a.m. Tuesday morning saying everything was postponed until next month. I was already at the airport when I got the notification. I figured I'd surprise Emma by coming home early, maybe take her out to a nice dinner, have an actual date night for once. We'd both been so busy lately that we barely saw each other. I took an Uber back home around 10 a.m. Our apartment was empty. Emma's car was gone, and there was a note on the kitchen counter. It said she was spending the day with her sister and would be back later. Nothing weird about that. Her sister lives across town and they hang out all the time. I unpacked my suitcase, changed into comfortable clothes, and decided to catch up on some work emails from home. Around 1 p.m., my buddy Chris texted me asking if I wanted to grab lunch. I told him I was back early and he suggested we check out this new sports bar that just opened downtown. It was Tuesday afternoon, so the place wasn't too crowded. We got a table near the back and ordered some wings. That's when I noticed the TVs. They were showing a local basketball tournament happening at the community center about 2 miles from our apartment, some kind of charity league that raises money for youth programs. I wasn't really paying attention until I saw her. Emma was sitting in the front row of the bleachers, cheering and clapping. She was wearing a basketball jersey with the number 23 on it, but it wasn't just any jersey. It had someone else's name printed across the back. I couldn't read it clearly from the TV angle, but I could see it definitely wasn't blank. My stomach dropped. Chris noticed I'd gone quiet and asked if I was okay. I pointed at the screen and said, "That's my wife." He looked confused. "What's she doing there?" I had no idea. Emma never mentioned anything about a basketball tournament. She definitely didn't say anything about watching some charity league game on a random Tuesday afternoon. And why was she wearing someone else's jersey like she was part of a fan club? The camera kept cutting back to the game, but every few minutes it would pan across the crowd and there she was, cheering louder than anyone else in that section. At one point, the camera zoomed in on her and she was literally standing up screaming after someone made a shot. I pulled out my phone and checked her location. We shared locations with each other for safety reasons. The dot showed she was at the community center, not at her sister's house like the note said. Chris could tell I was spiraling. He suggested maybe there was a reasonable explanation and I should just ask her about it, but something felt off. Why lie about where she was going? The game went to halftime and the camera showed players walking off the court. One guy stopped right in front of Emma's section. Tall, athletic build, probably late 20s. He walked directly up to her and they started talking. She was smiling in a way I hadn't seen in months, laughing at something he said. Then he reached out and adjusted the jersey she was wearing like he was straightening it out or something. That's when I saw the name on the back. Martinez, number 23. I asked Chris if he wanted to take a drive with me. He knew exactly what I meant. We paid the bill and headed to the community center. It took us maybe 10 minutes to get there. I parked in the back lot where Emma wouldn't see my car. The second half had just started when we walked in. I spotted her immediately, still in that Martinez jersey, still sitting front row. Chris and I found seats in the upper bleachers behind a group of teenagers so she wouldn't notice us. I watched her for the entire third quarter. Every time this Martinez guy touched the ball, she'd jump up and cheer. When he scored, she'd scream his name. It was like watching a stranger. Then the game ended. Martinez's team won, and Emma rushed down to the court. I stood up to get a better view. She ran right up to him and threw her arms around his neck. He lifted her off the ground in a hug that lasted way too long. They were both laughing. I started walking down the bleachers. Chris tried to grab my arm, but I pulled away. I was done watching from a distance. I got to the court just as Emma was pulling back from the hug. She turned around and saw me standing there. Her face went completely white. The Martinez guy looked between us, clearly confused about what was happening. I stared at Emma and said, "Thought you were with your sister today." She opened her mouth, but nothing came out. Then the guy stepped forward and said, "You must be the husband. I'm Daniel, Emma's brother."